Forget that this is your mom's first time being human too. It's easy to forget that your mom is somebody else's daughter and she probably didn't get what she needed.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to people talking about mothers, and this is why I make content talking about emotionally immature, narcissistic, toxic moms, because this is the kind of stuff that you're up against, right? It's this, oh well, it's your mom's first time living too. She just didn't know how to treat somebody like a decent human being. And Mel's absolutely right, is your mom probably didn't get what she needed emotionally. She probably didn't get the love and the care and the validation and the comfort that she needed as a child. And yet, even though she didn't get that, there wasn't that thing in her that said, wow, I felt pain because I didn't get validation. I felt pain because I wasn't seen, I wasn't heard. And so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to do everything I can to give that to my child. Instead, she said, you know what? I finally have this person who is designed to love me. And so they will give me all the love. They will give me all the affection. They will give me everything that I need. And that will make me whole. And it doesn't. It actually causes so much damage and abuse to the child because the parent has put that child in the place of the parent of, hey, well, it's your job to take care of me. It's your job to manage my emotions. This is such detrimental behavior. And to just say, oh, well, she didn't get what she needed and she was, she was wounded too. That doesn't excuse her behavior and the way that she's treating you right now.
At the end of the day, you're going to wake up one day and she's not going to be here.
Once again, laying it on thick, that emotional manipulation. One day she's not going to be here. You're right, she's not going to be here. And it's a damn shame that your mom wouldn't try to do everything that she could, like genuinely do everything she could to try to have a healthy relationship with you, to try to have a healthy connection. Instead, all the responsibility, once again, is placed on the child of, hey, you know what? She's going to die soon, so you need to suck it up. You need to shove everything that she ever did to you under the rug because she's going to die one day. We are all going to die one day, and that doesn't excuse your poor behavior. It doesn't excuse the way you treated your kids. It doesn't mean that your kids owe you a relationship because you're going to die sooner than they will. Someone who's supposed to be promoting emotional and mental health, this is such a manipulative tactic. It's such a blatant thing of, well, let's just lay on the guilt so that you do whatever your mom wants.
You get to choose what you forgive. You get to choose how you show up.
This is something that's very common in the realm of like relational health, is there's this big difference between forgiveness and reconciliation. And so most people think forgiveness is, oh, well, I forgive you for what you did. You treated me poorly. You gave me all these mental health issues. And so I can forgive you, because forgiveness means that you're not carrying around that hurt. You're not carrying around that pain anymore. However, reconciliation is very different. That means, hey, we're going to be in relationship again because there has been an agreement on both sides to do their part to restore the relationship. And very often this is not what happens when estranged parents and children get back together. It's usually one side who's taking on all the burden, all the onus of the responsibility of the relationship. And very often it's the child, not the parent. Once again, just continuing that unhealthy cycle.
Or maybe you're rightfully mad about things that happened in your childhood. Address it. She's not going to change.
This is one of the biggest things with emotionally immature, narcissistic, toxic moms, is that you address things, right? Problems happen. And then when you finally find your voice, you're finally like, hey, when you did this, it hurt me. When you did this when I was a kid, when this circumstance happened when I was a young adult, when you bring up these situations and these times that your parent caused you pain, they will not change. That is a true sign of an emotionally immature narcissistic person, is they won't change. They won't apologize. They won't own up to the way that they treated you. And she's like, oh, well, she won't change, but you can. And I'm like, yeah, you absolutely can. You get to shift how close you're going to be to someone who you can't have an open and honest and like healthy communication with. Because if you bring up to someone, hey, when you did this, it hurt me, and they don't say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, how can I make it better? I want to repair our relationship. If they're not doing that, then that's a person who doesn't actually care about you. So if you bring up issues to your parent and their response is to either double down and say, oh, well, that didn't happen, they gaslight you, they say, oh, well, you're remembering it wrong, or they just double down, like, well, yeah, I did it, so what? This is a person that you absolutely get to choose how close you're going to be to them. How close do you want to be to someone who can treat you poorly and then lie to your face and say, you know what, I'm actually not going to change. I'm just going to continue treating you this way because it helps me feel good about myself. Because the truth is, you can't make your mom change. You can give her the opportunity, but she has to be the one to choose it. And so if you're giving that opportunity and the choice is, I didn't do that, you're being crazy, well, that's not how I remember it, well, I'm just going to keep treating you this way because that's the way I am, that's just my personality, then you get to choose how close are you going to be to somebody like that. How much access do they have to your time, your resources, to your children? Is this a relationship that you really want to maintain? Regardless of their title, you get to choose. And also, she gets to choose, because she has a lot of room to say, wow, I can see how this is affecting our relationship and this isn't what I want. I want to change. Help me. Please keep communicating with me. Even if it's hard, like, I want to know how I can make this relationship better for us. End of the day, like, the let them choose, let her choose. Like, you get to choose and she gets to choose. There are two powerful people in this relationship. And even though your emotionally immature narcissistic mom can present herself as the victim, or say, oh, I just don't have to, nothing I do is ever good enough. There's like spiraling and going and all this stuff. You get to choose how close you're going to be to somebody like that. You can give her the opportunity to change, and sadly, she's probably not going to choose that. And so if she doesn't choose, you let her. You let her choose to be alone. You let her choose to be isolated. You let her choose to be sad, because that's what she's actively choosing by not making the choice to engage in healthy relationship. So she gets to choose, and so do you. You are so powerful in this. This is why I create content. It's why I wrote the Toxic Mom Recovery Guide, why I created the healing course, because you have options. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to keep carrying the weight and the burden of this responsibility for this relationship that you're the one who's carrying all the weight. It's okay for you to let it go. She gets to choose and you get to choose. Check out the link in my bio or check out the link in the comments for help.